Yo, what's going on? You already know what's going down. Let's have a little fun today, man. Let's have a little fun. Ride with me. Gonna get into it here in a little bit, man. Alright, audio is coming in, right? Not trying to look silly out here, man. Sir. All right. Let's get right into it, man. What's going on, beautiful people? Let me get set up here. I know it's been a while. It's been a minute. It's been a while. Something like that. Let's get into it. Hope everybody's well. If you're watching this in a replay, gang, hope everything is good with your main. Get my hydration, cause we stay hydrated around here. Alright, let's get right into it. Yo, what's going on? So we're gonna get into it, man. This is something that I got hit with something crazy after it was announced. After I announced that I took the A&R position with Mark Wayne Music, which again is a music production company out in Romania. We've had the pleasure working with Dua Lipa. We've been on the team working with Andrada and a couple other people. Billboard, this, that, and third. And so want to get into that, but first I want to thank everybody that watched my last live stream with Win, with him discussing the steps he took to build his record label, which is called Building Records. Man, it was so loved. I actually got a text message. Let me make sure I'm speaking to the mic. It was so loved. I actually got a text message from somebody saying that they liked it, they thought it was fire. So I'm really glad I was able to provide some sort of content to you guys that you can really get something out of it. And I hope more than anything, and again, I don't do these live streams to discourage you. I do want to give you a realistic, optimistic view of how you can actually make money in the industry. Well, not necessarily make money, because I don't want to be deemed as the guy that puts out content that helps you make money, but I want to sort of beat into your head a little bit that this is a business, and I want you to start approaching it as such. And if I can provide any sort of content that will allow you to do that, then I'm all for it. So, man, definitely thank you. Shout out to Win, and shout out to everyone that joined the live stream. There was a bit of a portion there where the audio wasn't coming through. I actually have that fixed now. So you should be able to hear audio all the time, no matter what's going on, man. But let's get into this. Let's get into the subject, man. This is something that I should have addressed earlier, but I didn't. And I was kind of I wasn't sure how to address it at first. I'm gonna be honest with you. And the reason why I didn't know how to address it at first was I wasn't aware that these types of conversations were had. And we'll get into it. Like I said, we'll get into everything, but um, I'm gonna take it step by step, right? So it was announced it's a couple of years ago now that I took the A&R position with Mark Wynn Music. If you're not familiar, let me pull up some stuff so you guys know. Some of you guys have already done this. Give me a second here. Come on, man. Is that supposed to be a bus? Anyway. There we go. So, as you guys know, Mark Wynn Music originally was a booking agency, and he's worked with literally most of these acts. And when I got hired, he was working with Carlos Santana and getting him booked, and then he started working with Lost Frequencies. This is Mark Wynn. This is the founder. And this is Magic Juice. This is the producer that we work with primarily. He's worked with Dua Lipa. He's worked with a ton of like Universal Music Group artists, a lot of their new artists as well. And yeah, so I'm not getting into the whole spiel, but when I took this position, I took it with the intent of I wanted to get the opportunity to not only work with new artists and possibly help with them getting different opportunities to work with bigger acts and on bigger opportunities, but also to hone my skills, because I've been told before that I would make a good A&R, and I was presented with a chance to make it a job, or get hired to actually do it. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So of course I'll take it on, man. Like no problem. So I had announced it on. I had to be in 2019. I had to be in 2019 when I announced it, because I remember that. So announced it 2019, even though I took the position like I think 6 months prior, but I still need to get like trained up or whatever. But anyway, I took the position, and then the floodgates like open like crazy. And what I mean by that was I got a lot of DMs for people looking for opportunities to work with Magic, work with us, get them in front of people, which were all good inquiries, but there was a huge amount of inquiries where it was like, what it revealed to me was the mindset of the average indie artist, and it was very telling. And what I mean by that is, I remember the first DM I got was someone had sent me a DM and said, "Hey man, saw you in A&R. I want to see if I can sing you my music." I said, "Sure." And then he said, "How much?" I said, "How much for what?" He said, "How much would it cost for you to listen to my music?" And this was the first time that it wasn't the first time I was introduced to A&Rs charging to listen to music, but this was the first time where I was in this position where I could have charged. And I thought about it. I was like, well, it would take time. But then I thought about it. I said, well, wouldn't make any sense. And the reason why I said we're not going to charge, and I said we specifically, was because I wanted that kid to know that, for me personally, I don't need the money. And I've said it before. Like it would be better spending money to buy a plane ticket to go with the A&R to go shop the record and go shop you to get signed, rather than spending the money to just have them listen and critique it. Because what's to stop you from going to someone else who who's just as good or even better and have even more accomplishments, and they can give you a 5-minute assessment and just be done with it? You just have to look for them. And so And actually, that's something that I kind of will get into as well. I guess what I'm going to do is, because I have time today. I'm going to unpack a lot of things today, and it's not. This is not, again. This is not a rant. It's time for me to like unpack a lot of stuff in regards to me having this position. And some of you may have noticed that I took A&R out of my title and all my socials. And the reason why I did that was because of this. Was because I got a lot of DMs where people just saying, I just want to be famous. What would it take for me to be famous? And I thought about it. I mean, the first time I got it, I was like, what? Didn't go, you know, find a digital media company and hire them, or a publicist or whatever. I was just like, I'm not sure what role I would play here. But it wasn't the first time. In fact, if I'm going to be blunt, I would say 80 to 85% of the DMs I get from artists looking to work with an A&R, and not just Mark Wynn, but just with an A&R, it's all, I just want to be famous. There's almost no conversation with these people, excuse me, about how to improve. There's only been maybe a few who's like, hey man, what can I do to get better? And I appreciate that, because that shows me that you're looking for growth and you understand what an A&R does, right? And I'm not gonna go to those spill what an A&R does and everything. And there's a little bit of ambiguity with the position, but overall, it's to find talent, right? And I could have took the opportunity to sell the dream to these artists, but I didn't want to do that because that's not me. And also at the same time, I'm representing the company as well. The last thing we need is for me to go out here and say something crazy, and then let's say Mark Wynn or Magic or whoever is associated over here, you look at kind of crazy. Like, just imagine at one point we were working and managing track masters, and just imagine me doing stuff like that, and you start looking at it like, damn, that's what track masters are doing right now. And that just was not the case. It was not needed. They're well accomplished, and they don't need an extra $150 an hour to listen to your music, right? So I have to keep that in mind. But the thing that bothered me the most was that was the focus. It wasn't about the music. And I get it, as I've stated again, this is a business, but man, it says a lot when you have 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds who are looking at music not as an opportunity to showcase their art, to connect with people, to use it for even business, to use it to explore the world or anything like that. It's just, hey, what can I do to get these vanity metrics up? And it shows me why it's so easy for artists to get scammed out here, because you're looking at this gold ring, which is the 100,000 followers, as the apex, right? As the indie artist, or the million followers rather, as the apex of being a famous artist, but you're forgetting everything else. It's like, yeah, sure, you get all the likes and everything else, but it doesn't make any sense when you can barely afford, a sandwich at McDonald's, a burger at McDonald's or whatever. And yeah, that was very telling. And I still get those DMs today. Yo, make me famous. Like, that's really the story of the DM. Someone will send me a DM like, yo, make me famous. It's like, I don't know what, huh? And I don't know if it's just like it is a lack of communication skills, and that's a deep, dark rabbit hole that we're not gonna get into today, but it says a lot. And so I wanted to address some of these things and sort of go over them today, so that way there's some content out there that at least points you in the right direction, if that's like the only focus. Now, again, the advice I'm going to give you is going to be pretty straightforward. It may even come off a bit old school, but the one thing I know for sure is that if you do follow these steps, you'll have a much better chance lasting. The last thing you want to do is to be a flash and pan artist, because we already know what's going to happen. So you'll get your first $1 million check, right? And you'll spend it, and then it's taxes, and then you pay for the house, and then you pay for the car, and then you look up 6 months later and you don't have another hit record, right? So what winds up happening, and what we've noticed, and it's not just me, so a couple other labels as well noticing this, is that you guys, and not to sound like I'm attacking you, but you guys, you artists, well, a nice chunk of artists will go hire a publicist company or a marketing agency or whatever to build your brand. And the next thing we know is we're looking on Instagram and you're doing all this wild stuff to get attention, like acting like you're having a fist fight in the middle of a grocery store. You're running in the middle of traffic only in your underwear. You're, throwing eggs at police officers. You're, walking around with like half naked women in like church trying to cause a scene, because you know that if you film that content, you post it, it's going to go viral, right? Because I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but again, the game here is an attention grab, right? But what you have to keep in mind is how you come off is usually going to be your first and lasting impression with somebody. So if you come off doing all this wild stuff and you have no music to really back it, that's your brand now. And as much as you may talk about some of these artists that have done that, the very few that are successful actually had some music to back it up. And if you don't have strong records or a strong catalog, then it's just a flash in the pan thing. It's like, yeah, cool, you were hot in your city for like 8 months, but now, we can barely find you. Now the features aren't coming in anymore. Now you're not doing those same shows and this, that, and third. And it's like, what are we doing all this for, right? So if that's the route you want to take, you're more than welcome. Because at the end of the day, it's your career. Like, y'all grown. I don't have to tell you what you should be doing. But it is what it is when it comes to that. Now, what I will propose is some things that you can do that's going to increase your chances. So, I don't know, this is coming off like a sombering, like a sombering type, live stream, but let's get into it. So first thing I'm going to recommend you do is to be good. Like, actually take time to actually be good. Sounds pretty straightforward, I know, but that's really what it is. If you look at any artist that is lasting to this day, they either got better over time or they started off good and then got even better, right? Good to great to unstoppable, Tim Grover. And so that's what I would suggest, is really work on spending time spending time to get good. I think there is a video of Lil Durk in let's see hours in studio. I think he had clocked something like 100 hours in the studio or something. Yeah, being in the studio all the time. I'm not gonna play it because I have enough copyright claims on my videos, but in this video here, he talks about how he almost clocked in like 100 hours in the studio. And, whether you like Lil Durk now or you will later, one thing you can definitely say for sure is that he's gotten a lot better. And he's now, like, there's been a couple of verses I heard, like, to me, the collab between him and Lil Baby on DJ Khaled's last album, I thought he had one of the better verses on that whole entire album. And that's all comes from putting in hours in the studio and getting better and better and better. So that's the first thing. Pretty straightforward, right? Just keep putting in that time. And also not for nothing, once you blow up, again, once you get out there in front of people, you're gonna start, as I keep explaining before, is you're going to start having to spend more time in settings where you're not in the studio, right? So doing shows, meet and greets, parties, whatever it takes to get you out in front of more people, that's less and less and less and less time you're going to be in the studio. So if you're mediocre and then you go on a 6-month run where you're doing all the shows, this, that, and the third, but you're not really in the studio, well, when it comes back to getting back in the studio, it's kind of hard to get back in the swing of things. And if you're mediocre, your skill set's going to drop a little bit, right? So when it's time to record, it's going to take you even longer to try to get back to where you are. If you start off being great, you may dip, but then you can at least get back on the horse because you've developed those skill sets, right? So the first thing I would recommend is to be good. That is it. Now that I've gotten my old man spiel out of the way, let's talk about the other stuff that you can do, right? So there's this thing called clouts. And I'm looking up the definition because I just want to be funny. Influencer power, especially in politics and business. The other thing you can do is find someone with a much bigger brand. And what you can do is find a way to work with them, whether that's a feature or maybe you're just like in their Instagram posts. So in regards to like maybe you guys decide to do like an in-studio performance, or you guys decide to do some sort of video that you're trying to make go viral. How you want to go about that is totally up to you, but that's another way you can get famous. We've seen examples of that. So like now I think Drewski is, and I'm looking up these people so you guys know who they are. So like Drewski, so this guy here, when I first saw him, he had like maybe 200 to 300,000 followers. Now he's like one of the biggest influencers out here, right? But let's say, for instance, you're in one of these videos, right? So that's, let's say, what 10% of 3.1 is 300,000, that's 310,000 or 300 and 100,000, right? If I do that number correctly. No, 310,000 who now see who you are. They're going to tag, they're going to go to your Instagram. And here's the thing, that whatever, this isn't talked about enough, but let's say, for instance, he tags you in one of these posts. Fam, if your content isn't on point, people are just going to leave. Plain and simple. So the cloud play only works if you are set up and ready to go. So if your content doesn't look this strong, the branding doesn't look that great or whatever else, it doesn't matter. But again, because sometimes things can be sort of a money grab, you'll pay for one of these influencers to put you in a video, whatever else, and then you'll look up and you're just like, I didn't really get a lot out of it. And the reason why is more than likely you're probably not set up to receive that traffic. And what I mean by that is, again, the branding. So the Instagram has to be tight, the website has to be tight. You have to have, what you can do is actually use this sort of as a funnel to your page and to your website, but you have to make sure there's content there where they're going to stick around. If you don't have content where they're going to stick around, you can forget it, period. So that means you still have to go be good. So you have to be good at creating content, which can take you up to anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months, because let's say you're partnering with like these other people to create this like sort of aura that you only hobnob like the top influencers in your city, right? And you got to go through, you may have to like archive some of this content or whatever, and this, that, and the third. You got to make sure you're set up. So if you're gonna run with the clout option, make sure that you are set up and ready to go. Because if not, this is not gonna help. And I see it all the time. Like, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but I've seen it firsthand. Like, if you're not ready, this is not gonna work. It's like, cool, like you popped up on everyone's timeline for a couple of days, but after that there's nothing else, and because you wasn't set up to convert. So there's that. Give me a second. All right. So the last thing I want to touch base on, again, is digital media companies. So I kind of did this a little bit, but dive into it again. So if you're on Google, you can put in music, digital marketing, or digital media companies, right? This is not new. I'm going to explain this because I'm tired of people saying that, oh, this is, blah, blah, blah. Be quiet. Just listen just for a second. I got you. Okay. So Actually, we'll use this one. There we go. Harry Fox Agency, right? Not gonna get into the whole thing, but just listen. We'll take it from there. All right. And this is a free pub for them. So the Harry Fox Agency, they're not paying me. I don't know any of these the people that work there, but I'm just going to dive into it a little bit. What in the hell is going on? This is not a secure site. Ooh, that does not look good. I see that, right? Where the URL up here is just looking crazy. If not, rewind it. You'll see it just keeps repeating HTML. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe we don't want to say Harry Fox. Ooh. Okay, maybe not. See, music, digital marketing agency. All right. See if I can find one. Well, I guess black box. Yeah, why not? All right. So I want you to understand something so we don't make this taboo. Everybody's doing this. It's not a secret. Everyone is doing this. Everyone. Take from that what you will. So, what a digital marketing company will do, and they can do it by a few ways, right? And everything I'm saying is what you can see on the website, so I'm not like revealing too much of a secret. But this is what a digital marketing company does. So what happens is you'll go in, and you have a consulting session. There's a brother who does it all the time. I really forgot this guy's name, but I see his stuff on my timeline all the time. But what will happen is a digital marketing company, they'll have a consulting session where they say, okay, cool. What is that you're trying to do? What is the end goal? And how long are we looking for? The reason why they ask how long is because that's how they know how much of a budget you're going to need. So if a digital marketing company charges $1,500 a month, but you're saying like, hey, I'll sign you up for the next 6 months, they may bring that down to $1,200 because what they're trying to do is, what they may see is like, you could be a long-term client. So instead of doing $1,500, they're bringing down to $1,200 and then, bringing some other ancillary things, because what they want to do is they want to keep that relationship going. Just like any consulting company will do is they're trying to see how they can tailor make this for you. Okay. So then what they'll do is they'll sit down and have a conversation. The conversation sounds something like this. Okay, artists, what type of music do you make? How would you describe your brand? Name 3 artists you're very similar to. How would you describe your audience? What do you think your brand says? What do you think your brand means? They're going to ask you all these questions because what they're looking to do is they're looking to tailor make that campaign as much as possible. Now I'm going to put a disclaimer here. That does not mean that some of these agencies are not running scams. And what I mean by that is, doesn't mean that they're not using bots to run up your numbers. But what you as an artist should be looking for is, hey, my main goal is to not only increase my awareness, but to create a stronger bond with fans. That should be it. If there's nothing in their capabilities or anything in their scope of service that's saying that that's what they're looking to do, walk away. It shouldn't be, oh, well, Dre's brand. No, I want to make sure I have a deeper relationship with my fans. How do we do that? And if nothing they're saying is on point with that, walk away. I cannot recommend that enough. No artists that have been scammed by it. I've taken a loss on that as well. I have hired a digital marketing company stating that this is what I was looking to do. The last one I did work with, they did help a lot, and they got it. But what you want to do is you want to look at ways you can partner with them to really help get you in front of the right people. No, we're not looking to just increase followers. No, we're not looking to just increase plays. Those are vanity metrics. That means nothing in the long run. It seems kind of cool to your fans because you're creating social proof that you're running all these numbers. But the thing is, no matter how much you fake the comments, no matter how much you fake the likes or whatever, if that's not converting over to real sales of your merchandise or, tickets or whatever you are selling, it does not matter because you'll have all these fans, but for whatever reason, you can't make any money. And the reason why you can't make any money is because there's nowhere in your strategy where you're trying to develop a fan. What you're trying to do is get in front of a lot of people and hope they click like, but you're not developing a deeper relationship. Don't go that route. Trust me, it's not worth it. There's a lot of people out here with 20,000, 25,000, 40,000 followers on all social media platforms, but the minute they put out an iTunes link, they get maybe 2 pre-orders. That looks crazy. And we'll be able to tell in the long run, because you only keep up the facade for so long, because guess what? You still have to pay the marketing company. So think about this for a second. If you are bringing on a marketing company for $1,200 a month for a 6-month campaign and you can't make any money back, what did you do it for? What did you do it for? Like, honestly, think about that for a second. What did you do that for? Because at the end of those 6 months, when it's time to, hey, T-Jizzle, sorry, I can't talk. T-Jizzle, what's good, man? Because at the end of it all, when they're gonna say, hey, you want to renew, you're not gonna have a budget for it because you don't make anything back. And that's how these artists get hurt, and then they wind up, going on Twitter and putting these subtweets. I see all this shit. I see all this stuff, bro. Like, you're in this business to make a living, but you know that the lifeblood is revenue and money. And if you know that, then why are you doing this play where you're trying to run these vanity metrics and not trying to convert anyone to any fans? I just don't get it. But that kind of goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of the live stream, is I'll have all these DMs, and I've got some pretty wild ass DMs from having this A&R position. I had a chick offer me sex one time, and actually it was twice. I had 2 different chicks offer me sex, and that's not to stun anything like that, but don't look at it as stun. Look at it as like, look how far someone's willing to go for vanity metrics. That's so cool. Let's say we have some sort of campaign where we can run these metrics and whatever, but then you can't convert. Like, think about how crazy that'll look. So once the world opens all the way back up and we start doing these festivals like more consistently, think about how wild it'll look for someone to go on stage who only like maybe 5,000 followers, right? But they have a deep relationship with their fans, and they're rocking it. And here you come on stage with 45,000 fans and no one knows a single lyric to your song. That looks crazy. I'm trying not to get too emotional about it, but y'all know I'm not gonna do the rapper hands. But think about that. That looks crazy. Here you are at A3CL South by Southwest, and you walking around with these 40,000 fans, and none of these other rappers who have just as many followers as you or less has even heard of you. That looks crazy. Like, come on, fam. Like, at some point, we do have to have a real conversation about this play that people keep trying to make, where it's like, make it just seem like you're doing a lot more than you're a lot bigger than what you are. And it's like, fam, that looks good on paper today, but a year from now, we're gonna look back, and if we can't track any progress, that looks crazy. And if you think the average music fan, with all this information that they've been fed, whether it's Complex, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, just regular stuff and everything else, like, the average music fan is very well aware that this is going on. And if you think you can fool them for a long time, you look crazy. I'm trying not to, Will. But that's the thing that bothers me with the average like music artist today, is the play should be trying to make a living. It shouldn't be to do this thing where, it's ice cream. It's not food at the end of the day. That's my whole spiel on it. It's ice cream. It like feels good today, but if you do it enough, you're gonna have rotten teeth. So what are we doing? So again, going back to the digital marketing company, sit down with them and you can get all the stuff. They'll distribute your your content for blog posts, features, and everything else. And what your job is to do is to stay consistent in delivering high quality content, high quality music. And every time you get a follow, try to convert. Like, really try to make that person who's following you a fan. Say what's up. Introduce yourself to them. How they doing? Look at their content. It takes 2 minutes out of your day, maybe even less than that. And just keep doing that consistently. And then when it's time to sell tickets for shows, you're going to be the one that's going to have people reciting lyrics to your music rather than the person. Like, on social media, you look great, but then it's like, fam, you didn't sell any tickets. If y'all, man, if you think other A&Rs and DJs and producers who are in the business don't catch this shit, you are lying to yourself. I promise I'm not going to be the producer version of Alex Jones, but some shit just had to be said. So that's what it is. All right, get some water, cool down. All right, so to recap everything, if you are looking to be famous, those are the 3 things you can do. One, I would recommend is actually be good, or don't be good, be great. The second thing I would recommend, if you are going to do the clout play, please set yourself up for when someone does repost your content, or you guys create some sort of viral content, your social media is set up to where people go, oh, I want to stay here and follow. And the third thing is you can hire a digital media company, but you need to start asking the right questions. It's not all about, here's a proper mindset. If you do hire a digital media company to do all the stuff for you, ask them this question. How, with me and you partnering and me having this fan base, how can we better serve this fan base? If you ask that question and they can't give you a solid answer, walk away. I promise you, you're not losing anything. You're not losing anything. I promise you. Because there's some agency out there that would get it and go, oh, boom, 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 and come up with a real marketing plan. And also another thing as well, if you're going to hire one of these companies, set some KPIs. Y'all know what a KPI is? Let me break that down for you. So we can read together. Okay. So the KPI is called a key performance indicator, right? So let's say, for instance, your goal is, for the next 6 months to raise your brand awareness as much as possible. One of the KPIs that you can set is the amount of pre-orders you're getting for like this new single you're getting ready to drop. That can be a KPI. Another KPI can be how many blue checks are following you or something like that. They should be able to set that KPI because your goals should be their goals. If they cannot do that, fam, walk away. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good agencies out here. It's just that the bad ones just keep running in front of you first because they know that if they get you on that upswing, on that high, then they know that they can get you, they can sell you. And then once they got you, that's it. A real agency is going to sit down. A real agency is going to ask you more questions than you are going to ask them because they want to know if you're going to be a good fit for them. The last thing they want to do is sign you on as a client and they can't deliver what it is that you're looking for. Also, they're going to want to make sure that they set that the proper expectations are set because the last thing they want is to go 3 months into their program and you go, this thing sucks, I want to quit. That's the last thing they want because they already have an influx of other inquiries and other clients that they're trying to deal with, and they have systems to work with those clients. Think about it. If I have 15 clients that I'm working with and all their campaigns are going well, and I have one that's like, yo, I'm ready to leave, I want to nip that in the bud as soon as possible, but also want to have proof that, hey, we agree that we're going to do this for the next 6 months. We're looking for this. Let's let the campaign, like they're going to care a lot more than just someone. Like I had one agency approach me and I said, for my company, Room 380, actually before I had Room 380, I said, for me, I want to align myself with fans of Atlantic Records. And the person looked at me and said, who? I said, Atlantic Records. Who is that? And so I explained to him the history of Atlantic Records. I said, if you don't know who this is, how can you help me? It was just that simple. Save my money, then sign on. Just that simple. That's the type of approach you should have. I'm not saying walk around jaded. And some of y'all walk around jaded for like no reason. Like One day I'm gonna have a discussion about how y'all are fake jaded. I don't understand why this is like a new thing. I follow some of y'all on Twitter and y'all. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna say that rant. I'm not want to give all this content, but one day we're gonna talk about that. But anyway, that'll be my recommendation for you if you are looking to be famous. Okay, so do those things. Be good. Collaborate with, bigger brands. Offer something, of course, and look at digital media agencies that work with you and align with your goals. If you do that, I promise you, you'll be fine. Don't be fooled by these 45,000, 20,000, 100,000 followers. A lot of these people still have 9 to 5s. Okay, that's it. I did good. I did good. That's it, bro. That's pretty much what it is. Next time I'm going to fix the latency a little bit, because I noticed the latency between what I'm saying and what you guys are saying is a bit much, but that's pretty much it, man. Again, I hope y'all get something out of this. If not, let me know in the comments. September 30th here in New York is getting a little cool. It'll warm up again. Already can feel it. And that is it. And if you were offended by anything I said, look in the mirror and see why. Because I didn't say any. I didn't tell any lie. But but I get it. But come out here. If you're gonna come out here in this field, come out here with the intent of making a living. Don't come out here trying to look like you're the most popular kid, but you're starving. That looks dumb. But anyway, that's it. This is episode 10 of Capitalism and Art. I'm gonna holler at you later. Love, peace, hair grease. We out.